Hello and welcome to this edition of Halcyon Blink, and welcome to your PWT Heavyweight Champion of the World, the inaugural PWT Heavyweight Champion on May 21st. Assuming this episode hasn't aired by then, you're still going to be looking at the PWT Heavyweight Champion of the World, the inaugural PWT Heavyweight Champion of the World, the undefeated, the undisputed, the best, the man with the power, the man of the hour, the man too sweet to be sour. Yes. That is me. And on this episode, I'm going to be looking at easily one of the most quotable films of all time. We're going to be looking at Snatch. Now, what makes Snatch great? Simple. The one-liners.
I just had them polished. Go and put the kettle on.
You take sugar?
No, thank you, Turkish. I'm sweet enough.
This gangster flick is probably one of the lighter gangster flicks I've ever seen. The drug usage is at a minimum. There's still some drug usage, I'm pretty sure. The murder and gruesomeness is, again, to a minimum, although people do get straight up murdered in this film. One guy loses an arm, but it's kind of all implied, it's not graphically shown. The characters, weirdly enough, are all kind of non-villainish and all kind of likeable, with one notable exception. But however, again, the reason why he's a villain but kind of loved is because his monologues are among the best in the film. That would be Brits up.
Do you know what Nemesis means? A righteous infliction of retribution manifested by an appropriate agent. Personified in this case by an honourable me.
That's the other thing you have to get used to in this film as well. The accents are absolutely over the top, like you wouldn't believe. Everybody with a London accent talks like Dick Van Dyke, and I mean in Mary Poppins, not the Americanized version. I'm talking over the top English North Londoner. It's really hard to get past at times, but it happens so often, it just washes over you after a certain point. But Bricktop is a villain in the sense that he's just too damn funny in his put downs to really genuinely hate, and he's feared. And don't get me wrong, he does come across as a genuine threat to our protagonists, but in the sense that you don't want to see them get hurt, I guess, but you kind of see what you kind of want to know what his next monologue's going to be, because it's going to be hilarious, whatever it is.
This was buy his mum a caravan, and you nicked all our savings.
In the quiet words of the Virgin Mary, come again.
But the way the film introduces all its characters as well is relatively clever and catchy, and so far as I can tell, one of the few times that I've ever seen it done, by introducing them in freeze frames with their name. Even though you've got zero context of who they are at this point, you know, you come across them later on in the story. But the fact that this whole film is a multitude of stories that are all interwoven somehow is actually really entertaining to see how they cross paths, to see what their relationships are, who knows whose reputations precede those. But like I say, coming back to the main reason why you're going to like this film, it's the one-liners, man. You'll be quoting them for days. The one that gets me every single time, there's a scene where the jewelry guys, so you've got Sol, you've got Vince, and you've got Tyrone. And Tyrone is a gentleman of a larger persuasion who's driving the car, and they're having an argument about how good a driver he is when he pulls over to get fuel, presumably.
He's bad to the bone. Ain't you, Tyrone?
Of course I am.
Tyrone's going to be driving for us. He's done a rally driving course. Ain't you, Tyrone?
Of course I have.
And in trying to get out of the car, he's really struggling to get out. And the look on Vince's face as he's watching this guy try to get out of a car as a getaway driver is priceless.
All right.
I thought you said he was a getaway driver. What the f can he get away from, eh?
It's one of the great comedic facial expressions I've ever seen in any film ever. Following up with the terrific line, "Hey, I thought you said he was a getaway driver. The f can he get away from, eh?" It's genius. Guy Ritchie is a master of pulling off those one-liners. It's there in Lock, Stock, but only to a lesser degree because Lock, Stock has a much darker tone, a more threatening one, if that. Everything's very distant and everything's dark and sort of soaked in shadow. Everything's very blurry and very murky and everything's a very dark sort of brown colour. You get that to an extent in Snatch, but everything's more crisp. More stuff happens in the day and more happens between characters who are familiar and friendly with each other, with only the rare exception that there's any conflict. Even with the apocryphally voiced Mickey, who is played by Brad Pitt, his accent, again, you really got to work hard to get past.
Hey! To do for a caravan.
What?
Caravan. Top of the range, you know, like.
It was us that wanted a caravan. Anyway, what's wrong with this one?
It's not for me. It's for me, man.
You what?
It's not.
But he's a main threat to the protagonist at the beginning of the film, who they let persuade to fight for them. When he's fighting, it's the badassery doesn't become apparent till right at the end, and I think he's probably the odd thing in this, because in terms of his character, he's constantly playing the game of, he's playing everybody. Everyone's trying to play each other, but Brad Pitt's Mickey is playing everybody, and that kind of shows through in the pikey culture that you get. Traveller culture, my apologies. Not really sorry though.
Oh, this is awkward. I'm gonna walk this situation off, and I will see you later.
You've got other characters such as Vinnie Jones's Bullet Tooth Tony. You've got Boris the Bullet Dodger, or Boris the Blade, who I don't know what it is about Guy Ritchie films. He loves giving people nicknames. I don't know. I mean, I have Hollywood for Ryan and I have the Dictator for Brenny, but I don't really go around calling them Alright Hollywood. It's Alright Ryan or whatever. I don't know anyone in real life that actually goes by a nickname anymore. It's just kind of a bit cliche and very 90s, but nevertheless. But maybe it was a product of its time. It was released in 1999/2000. I forget exactly when. Some great music. Soundtrack of it is quintessentially British, and that's what I would say about this film as far as a gangster flick. It is very, very British. I don't know how it would resonate with a foreign audience, or how it has resonated with a foreign audience, because a lot of the stuff in this film, Americans wouldn't get, the French wouldn't get. Britpop is absolutely hilarious. Turkish and Tommy, the protagonists, have some great chemistry and are hilarious amongst themselves.
And I don't want to have my pants pulled down over the price.
What's wrong with this one?
Oh, nothing, Tommy. It's tip-top. It's just I'm not sure about the colour.
A few moments later.
There's something very wrong with this. It was us that wanted to buy a caravan off of him.
Well, why didn't you bust a cap in his ass then, Tommy?
The only downsides of the film are potentially the ending's a bit of a letdown and a bit open-ended for my liking. The character of Mickey is a bit one-dimensional, and it's a bit, so really he's that hard he can knock people out with one, like anybody, and no one knows how to defend a punch. Like professional fighters who fight for years and years don't know how to do that. Okay, I guess I buy that for all of 0.2 seconds. But aside from that, the gunplay is a bit weak, and the characters are sort of hyped up to almost superhuman levels, with at least 2 characters hyped up as unkillable. Okay, fair enough. I mean, they both die in the film, not spoiling anything, but still, kind of weird when you think about it. As far as a gangster film though, it's probably one of the better ones. I'd rate it as an 8 out of 10. I enjoy it immensely every time I watch it. It's easy to crack open a beer and just sit back and enjoy, and talk along to more often than not now, because you know most of the lines.
What's happening with those sausages, Charlie?
A few moments later.
What's happening with them sausages, Charlie?
5 minutes, turkeys.
It was 2 minutes 5 minutes ago.
As a film though, it's probably more like a 7. Because it's not the best shot film ever. A lot of the camera angles are awkward, and a lot of the The frame play is kind of rudimental, but then again, it might not have had the budget that it would have liked because it was trying to get some serious star power in the form of Brad Pitt. But it's a decent flick, and it's well worth watching, especially if you're into the gangster genre, as I've kind of been sucked into recently thanks to YouTube, to give it a watch and check it out. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Halcyon Blink. Please like, share, subscribe, or dislike and unsubscribe if you're so there. Again! Unbelievable, every single time. Dislike and unsubscribe if you're so inclined to do so. That's supposed to be my goddamn catchphrase at this point. I keep mucking it up. As always, please find time to check out some of the content creators in the section below. Very hard-working individuals that do it for the love. YouTube ain't giving us no money to do this, people, so this is all for the love. So please go and support them, give them a watch, share them, suggest them, go on there, ask them to do the same for you if you're a content creator as well. So thanks very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. I have been your PWT Heavyweight Champion of the world. Do two things. Be jealous, and if there's anything you think you can do about this, realize there's nothing you can do about it. I am your PWT Heavyweight Champion of the world. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.